Hello, I'm Jennie Rayment and this is the Easy Quilting Uneven 9 patch. The template I have in front of me. This template is a 2-in-1 template because it does your ovals and it also cuts the arcs out of a background square. When you buy the template, with it will come some instructions on how you actually cut the template and how you prepare it. So don't throw that little piece of paper away. The Uneven 9 patch works like this. It is suggested you construct a centre, and the centre is constructed by taking strips of fabric 2.5 by 4.5 inches, squares of fabric 4.5 inches, and a 2.5-inch square in the middle. Don't worry, this is all on the little instruction leaflet. Sew the pieces together to make a classic 9 patch. The design is called Uneven 9 patch. Now you make it into an uneven 9 patch by turning the work over. On the template you will see there is a line here and it says place line on edge of 10.5-inch uneven 9 patch. When you have pieced all the sections together it should end up being 10.5 inches. What I like to do with this is press it in half and in half again because that will give you the centre of the block. If you take your uneven 9 patch and place it onto the block, so the little mark here aligns with the crease. So pop it onto there, little mark aligns with the crease. The outer dark line will be exactly on the edge of the fabric. Taking your rotary cutter, and you could use the 45mm, or you could use a 28 or indeed a 60mm rotary cutter and simply cut round the arc. You repeat this on each of the 4 sides of the square. So you do it again there, and again there, and again there, and you will end up with a piece that looks a little bit like that. That is your uneven 9 patch, the centre. You're now going to use another line on the template to create the arcs that are going to go here. So if you now cut a 10.5-inch strip of fabric, fold part of it over. Using the other side of the uneven 9 patch, you will say that it actually says place line on fold of 10.5-inch strip to cut the melons, and the melons are the links that link the uneven 9 patches together. You will see in a moment. Place the template exactly on the top with that fold lying exactly aligned with the line on the template. Take your rotary cutter and cut round. You will end up with a melon shape. And there we have the melon shape. What basically happens to make the design up is you will take the uneven 9 patch and the melons and you'll begin to sew it together so it looks something like this. And I have 4 uneven 9 patches and 4 melons, and you can see it makes this wonderful flower design. When you come to sew a melon into the section, what I would do is fold the melon in half, make a small nick in the centre of the melon. I know where the centre of the uneven 9 patch is because there is a crease. Take the melon, place the uneven 9 patch on top, line up the crease. If the crease comes out, you can always make a little nick in it just to make certain that you can really tell where the middle is. Put middle of the uneven 9 patch centre to the centre of the melon, line them up, take one of those lovely flower pins from Easy Quilting, put a flower pin in with the head sticking out on the edge, feed the fabric round and align with the edge there, pin in on the corner, again with your pins outside on the outside edge so you can remove them. Do the same thing the other end, bend it round, and you're putting this square edge of the template, the inner section, to the edge like that. Put a pin in, ease the other layers round together, so just ease them in. 2 or 3 more pins will be absolutely ideal. So a pin in there and another pin in there just to hold it together, because all you're going to do then is sew round the arc. So do it round here and sew all the way round that arced edge by hand or on the sewing machine. When you have done that, you will find that you will have fitted the melon into the edge of the shape. So just stitch around there. That will fit the melon in rather nicely to the edge of the shape, as you can see here. I would attach the other pieces in exactly the same way and the design begins to take shape. But if you decided yourself, I don't really want to make that, I just want to make a circular one, if you just simply took a 10.5-inch square, cut the 10.5-inch square back into the arc shape, cut yourself 4 ovals, stitch 1 oval into the corners, and you can see the seams get pressed towards the inside. 1 oval goes into there, 1 oval goes into there, 1 oval goes there, 1 oval goes there, and you will make this into rather a nice circle. Think perhaps Halloween, because having stitched the 4 ovals together, you could mount it onto a bit of wadding and bind it, and you would come up with a rather nice table mat. And if you didn't fancy just having 1 circle, but you wanted to sew 4 of them together and square it off, the template even covers that. Because on the template there's one last line we haven't dealt with, which is this one, where if you take that particular line on the template and you place it onto a straight strip, you can add the seam allowance on. So if I take a straight strip of fabric, place the template on here, and it says place line on edge of 10.5-inch strip to cut a half melon. So pop the edge on there, take your rotary cutter, cut round the edge, and you will have a half melon, because you can use these halves to finish off the block and give it square edges. So if I go back to my original piece, lay this out, move him out the way there, lay that out on top, I can now square this off into a very usable cushion or small quilt, cot quilt, something like that, by filling in the gaps with these half melons, and you will end up with a brilliant square that can be quilted and turned into perhaps a bag or something like that. That is the Easy Quilting Uneven 9 Patch.